You know what? There's just way too many videos of Zoom calls to do these for. So basically, I'm just going to put this one before all of them. What you're about to watch are part of the leaders that were going to run Paramount Pictures, a new generation, lean and mean, and basically the people that were needed to build a new studio system. But corporate greed and legacy wealth and maybe political presidential interference took all of that away. So most of the people on all these Zooms introduce themselves. For those that don't, well, you could just Google their names because they're all leaders in the worlds that they come from. My name is William Potter Clevenger. I did this with family, hundreds of them, and I will never stop, ever, until we are seen and heard.
That's two goals.
Yeah.
Didn't mean to record. What up, D?
What up, bro? How you doing?
I'm good. Yo, because Will Crossley's assistant, there was a miscommunication. She sent out that Microsoft team saying I had her cancel it. Lenny's like, I thought the Zoom was canceled, even though I sent emails, so it's fine. And we don't need that many people on. The only people that need to be on this Zoom now that I've gone through this week with Lenny are going to be you, myself, Larry, Don Bennett, and Will Crossley. That's really it. So I did that email with all of us that you and Larry are on. You should see a new, fresh email that Will
Yeah.
Crossley responded to. So we'll get this synced up. And this moves forward even independent of this Zoom call today. Now that I know, right, that the Shack College of Sports Media is on the table with Lenny and something he's trying to do, this guy, he's like, I'm still not sure if this is something that interests me. And I'm just like, bro, I'm like, you can go against God's will all you want, like many other people did, like the one I got to go testify in court against next week in fucking Vegas. I'm like, the whole point is, like, this is happening. So I told him, now the fact that I know that the Shack College of Sports Media is our thing, I'm just going to put that shit in the fucking prospectus, independent
Yeah.
of syncing up with him, because I'm done with this week, bro. I am so sick of this. I want to finalize this. I want to put all this in front of Malka. We're going to have the streaming launch event on March 29th, which allows
March
us
29th?
which allows us to prep and fund everything the rest of this month through the beginning of March. And then check this out. That's also my mother's wedding to her childhood sweetheart, who she's reunited with, and it's her birthday. So once we open in Atlantic City, I'm going to get on a plane and I'm going to fly into my mom's wedding in Ocala, Florida. And then I'm going to fly out of Ocala's private airport into Mississippi. And then I'm going to fly from Mississippi to Chicago and then from Chicago to LA. I'm going to be at all intersecting points in the United States that we're going to live stream over those 24 hours. I'm going to go and hit every single fucking city. And it's going to be the streaming launch of a lifetime.
Dope.
And that's how we're doing it. And then on Mother's Day weekend, May 9th through the 11th, in Ocala, Florida, my hometown, at the World Equestrian Center, we're going to have the benefit concert for charity called Love Aid. It'll be a 3-day event. And then we're going to announce through all of this the Big Picture World Film Festival. That's also going to be in my hometown. So we'll get movies submitted from all over the globe and short films and content that we will then on 4th of July weekend, when we hold the film festival to celebrate Independence Day, give back the entertainment community their fucking freedom, bro. It's an incredible marketing campaign. It's all tied to a newspaper article from March 9th of 2007 that says Mr. Clevenger gores to Hollywood when I moved out here and made a movie. And now it's going to say Mr. Clevenger comes home. That's going to be the whole basis for this and connected to my life and my story and all of this. And it was
That's
me
dope.
driving to Florida to find the money, and now us coming back full circle to launch everything that happened from finding said money. And on the 4th of July, we defund and decorporatize all of entertainment moving forward forever.
That's dope, dude. That's dope, man. I've got quite a few things I'm going to talk about. Once we get all this stuff ironed out, I got quite a few things to go over, and you're more than welcome to be a part of everything we're talking about. I
Thank
prefer
you.
it.
I'm letting Larry in, and I'll just let him know what's going on. So,
Sweet.
hello, Mr. Witherspoon. It's on mute. D, back to what you were saying, sir.
No, so
Oh,
yeah,
and here's Don. Cool. We'll have our own little meeting right now
Sweet.
since Will can't make it. This is good getting you guys all connected too. Hello, Don. Hi, Don. Hi, Larry.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Hey,
sorry for the
um,
kerfuffle today with Will's assistant. She sent a Teams meeting. I didn't know Lenny was on the response where I sent the Zoom link. So we'll get this resynchronized. And when we do this call with him, it'll just be us, you, Don, Larry, myself, Dion, and Will Crossley with Lenny. We don't need a bunch of other people because we're the collective correlating points. Mr. Bennett, I was just telling Dion and Larry before you jumped on. So the plan is our global streaming launch event, Don, will be March 29th, live from Atlantic City, New Jersey. I
okay,
have
great.
finished everything with basically what I needed to get in order to send to CJ and Moses at Malka to then be able to connect all of us. I wrapped that up this week with my directorial debut and what we're doing with the They Live franchise. I was not going to fund 30 something movies and not finally make my dreams come true, right? So I had to go through the rights of all that. March 29th is also my mom's wedding to her childhood sweetheart in Ocala, Florida. 50 years later, they reunited. It's also her birthday. And there was an article from March 9th, 2007, in my hometown newspaper about Mr. Clevenger Gore's to Hollywood when I sold my first movie to the Weinsteins. I'm using that for Mr. Clevenger Comes Home because at the World Equestrian Center, picked by Time Magazine as one of the 100 greatest places in the world to visit, Don and Larry, we're going to hold our Love Aid concert for charity on Mother's Day weekend, May 9th through the 11th in Ocala, Florida at the World Equestrian Center, where we will also return on the 4th of July for the Big Picture World Global Film Festival. You see, that's how we're getting all the content to launch the streaming platform. We're going to hold our own film festival on 4th of July, also at the World Equestrian Center, where John Travolta lives in Ocala, Florida, as well, mind you. And because we'll have thousands of movies and pieces of content submitted from all over the globe, right, between now and 4th of July, we will have enough titles to acquire and distribute literally overnight after we fund the movies the end of March that we will film and go into production on the end of March through July. So we will have some films that will be finished with post production with the quick turnaround that we can premiere at the film festival and actually bring people to it. And so that's the plan. And then there's a docu-reality series show. This is the Entourage in real life called 27th and Speedway. It's about me and all of my friends, some of which are the best friends of very famous people like Snoop Dogg, Danny Trejo, and Mark Wahlberg, is we all work together to decentralize Hollywood, for them to become producers and transition to that world behind me as a director, all while we work together to build a movie studio at America's oldest black boarding school in Mississippi, while all working to bring pro sports to La Paz, Mexico. That's a docu-series from a six-time Emmy winner who produces all of Caesar Milan's Dog Whisperer shows and is our partner in Unscripted, David Leapson, who's been very ill this week. So I think that's another reason why today got pushed off via God. But that's what's going on, Don.
I have a quick, I have a quick
Yeah,
question.
ask away.
What streaming platform are you using for the March 29th in
Well,
AC?
see, this is the thing. You and Larry and Dion here haven't properly got to meet. So you're on with my partners of said streaming platform that already exists. So
Is
Don
that the,
Bennett, this is Larry Witherspoon, who founded Connect to Your City. And I
okay,
want to
cool.
be quiet and let you
Hey,
guys
guys.
talk because you've had a lot of questions, Don, specifically about this. And I
Yeah, because
want to
you had the Lucille 3 or whatever the name it was. Is that
That's
the
it.
same?
So there's a live streaming platform, which is going to be connect to your city, which I've talked to Larry. This is all going to go under big picture. We're all going to do it together. So Larry and Dion are going to run, let's call it the VOD streaming on demand platform, along with Bossum, who's built it. All the content from a movie standpoint, we're getting from that festival amongst things we're acquiring. And then I'll let Larry and Dion talk about what they've basically been running, because what Larry's created gives the ability for anybody in the world to basically have their own streaming channel on a level that actually has global impact from like a public access standpoint. That's what was so beautiful about this. It's going to be an ecosystem that runs together, but they're different capacities from the social side to the streaming side to the on demand side. And it's always going to be private. And we'll be able, from a funding standpoint, to have Malka, because of how we structured this, inject cash dollars into this. That's why I stopped trying to figure out an acquisition price or something else and dealing with the financials of this. That's not my job. My job was to connect it all together. I have the money, so I want to segment each of us out individually to connect and put in front of CJ. So I'm going to do a streaming email, and it's just going to be us on it, right, with Malka. I'm going to do an IP film email, the hologram email. It's all different segmented things correlated to what our data room overall is. And then I'm finishing with Drew Spanding, who you've spoken to a couple times from Pricelight. He's our head of marketing. He and I are working on a big picture world group deck prospectus overview that's private for Malka, that has all of us in it, the movies we're making, the people involved. Big picture world group has become a relationship tree ecosystem. That's what this whole thing is, right? So I'm going to put in there essentially who the leaders are and who their top relationships are that connect them. For example, my partner Rasta Phil, best friend Mark Wahlberg, right? It's almost like the roster in the sports team. I'm going to break it all down and show how this relationship tree basically connects everything in entertainment, music, and film together.
Yeah. So I have a question. So Larry, I saw your site. I saw the menus. You have quite a bit of streaming activities on the menu if I had the right site. So I saw that. That was good. Um, I just want to make sure that no matter how many people come in to join us and so forth, that you tested everything on AWS, whatever private partner you use with them, to make sure they can hold that many people that comes in. That's all.
Well, the beautiful thing about it, nice meeting you. The thing is being able to syndicate the live stream. So
Okay.
most people try to do it on just one site. What I'm doing is being able to syndicate it on satellite to have traditional television networks, MSOs, pick it up globally on TV, as well as streaming to, we have 210 channels. So if we make 100 channels available to syndicate, no one's going to just one site. So I'm making it where people can, enjoy a full experience with no bottlenecking, no pixelation, because each channel that participates will have a QR code so we can tell how many people's donating from what channel or whatever it's coming from as well. But we can handle the capacity of whatever it is that's needed, but being able to decentralize it and make it where people can join from built-in audiences, because each channel has their own audience. So instead of trying to hope someone will watch it from somewhere or market it to a specific group, we have hundreds of channels that'll be
And
marketing it at the same time.
I wanted to ask you a question on that, because it's like basically storming the castle and taking over the station, right? Larry, do we have the ability on everybody that's got a streaming channel on your platform to basically make the broadcast feed on each one of those channels with notifying those basically broadcasters that on that day on March 29th, everything on Connect to Your City, each channel would basically be the streaming event? Because the reason why we're going for 24 hours, I'm going to get Dion involved in this too, prime time. When we go for 24 hours, oh, and updates, I brought in Bill Boyd Jr., who spent 17 years working for Dick Clark and 10 years working for Jerry Lewis on the MDA telethons. He's our main producer on this. I'm going to meet with him over the weekend, and then the three of us on this Zoom will have a call with him to start next week, because what I want to do, the whole thing with the 24 hours, it allows us globally, Because, for example, Wang Xiaoming, who's one of China's biggest stars, is my partner, our partner. So I'm going to have a crew with him live in Macau, right? Or wherever he's at in the world. Same deal. Andrew Koji is the represent. One second, guys, please. Sorry. Andrew Koji, who's literally an actor from Japan, he is the representative for Japan, right? One second. Someone's trying to get in. Hold on. Thank you, Jeannie. So sorry, distractions. We basically have the ability to live stream in every market during prime time, right? So that's the whole purpose. Yeah, he's at the gate. That's the whole purpose of everything with this entire launch. And during that period, that's when we'll do everything as it relates to the charity standpoint from auctioning off items. And I was gonna do it on March 9th, but doing it on the 29th gives us the rest of this month to sort out everything from the funding standpoint with Malka, because there's a lot of pieces with this. You guys have heard everything under the sun for the last 6 months of what we've been collecting. And then that allows us to prep everything during the entire month of March. So that's kind of basically the ebb and flow, Don. We would be headquartered out Atlantic City with everything we've set and prepped there. And then we would have satellite locations consisting in Los Angeles at the Canyon Country Store, Chicago, right where Jay Ivy will host, Austin, Texas, where Rocco Nugent will host, and then obviously Piney Woods, where we'll be live with the students of Will Crossley, and then Atlantic City. And on this, because it's also my mother's wedding, I'm going to open from Atlantic City with all of us. Then I'm going to hop on a plane. It's 24 hours, right? Live. And I'm going to fly into Ocala with the camera crew. I said I was coming home. And then I'm going to get on a plane and go from my mom's wedding to Mississippi, Mississippi to Chicago, down to Texas, and then in the night at the Canyon Country Store with Robbie Krieger from The Doors. Like that's the whole plan. So my life basically becomes the whole marketing campaign. And basically, I'm a walking advertisement for everything we've put together collectively. From partnering with Tommy Bina, that's what this doc series does too, Don. We're doing a series called 27th and Speedway. I'm buying a mat. We're buying a house. The cost of the house is correlated to the location budget for the series. Living in that house will be Kiefer Moore, who manages Snoop Dogg's entire compound. He has since we did Grow House together, and I've introduced Kiefer literally to that project. He was working with DJ Pooh. He became tight with Snoop. Now he's worked for him for a decade. And then there's Fabian Alomar, who was in the video on X with me. He sees Danny Trejo practically every day. I got Rasta Phil and Scotty G, Mark Wahlberg's two best friends of 40 years, running East Coast operations, always flying out and stay in the house, right? Then I got Jerry Easter Sr., whose son's going to be the starting point guard for USC basketball as he transitions and Jerry moves to LA to become a film producer. The doc series, oh, and then there's Dean Hadley, who introduced us to Pineywood School, who went to Pineywood School, okay, and he lives in the house with me as well. The outside of the house has a bunch of repurposed seats from the Hollywood Bowl. They're wood. So I'm getting artists literally like Banksy, because Banksy's part of what we're doing. I'm putting out docs on him. I'm getting Banksy and other street artists to paint the outside of the house. I've already got 24-hour security and basically private security built into all this to maintain it. And then next door to that house, we're buying the land and we're building the Venice Beach Museum, which basically taps into the boardwalk because legendary bodybuilder Robbie Robinson, who was in the Pumping Iron doc with Arnold, is one of our partners. And we're doing a series on Robbie's life, which allows me to pay for everything in Venice that we all read about on Pacific Ave, right? And it's all in one walkable circle strip. So that series is from a 6-time Emmy winner. And that series is our marketing campaign every day moving forward. And then we have a podcast that's being produced by Pillar, who produces Mike Tyson's podcast and Tommy Chong's. They have a studio right by LAX. So we're going to do that weekly, the Big Picture World Group podcast. And this is everything that's been correlated out in this deck prospectus that I'm talking about. And the show will follow all of us working to build a movie studio in Mississippi while we work towards decentralizing the film ministry this summer, in addition to literally bringing pro sports to La Paz, Mexico, while I transition and retire from producing once this launches and focus full time on just being a director and a writer and a filmmaker and working with the kids in Piney Woods and writing and conceiving movies. Bruce, please don't drill that right now. Writing and conceiving movies that allows me to consistently be in Mississippi, educating the kids with the films that I'm going to be making there because I got 20 years worth of lost time to make up for, Don. I was never supposed to be a film producer. I went to film school to direct. I chose the Matrix avatar of producing when I believed in a kid in film school named Stephen C. Miller, and I got stuck in that loop for 19 years. It's why I had so many metaphysical deaths and my life bottomed out so many times because I was going against God's will and purpose in my life, and I never understood that. And I can impact so many more lives by physically making a movie than I can going out trying to raise millions of dollars for another director to make his dreams come true. I've done it for 20 years. When we launch this, I'm talking about 30 something movies we're going to be making. At that point, that's 50 other human beings who I helped at my age make their dreams come true. Stephen McAvity, who produced Passion of the Christ, trying to make his first movie at 70 years old, sitting here. See, he was a mirror to me. I didn't realize everyone I met was a mirror to where if we worked together, we could make dreams come true. I met you, man. It's a mirror. The dreams you want to do in education, right? Same thing with D. I want a stream platform. Larry. So I came to understand the way all this worked. Everyone I was encountering wasn't necessarily to have everybody in this because there's been hundreds of people. It was for me to look in a mirror at conversations with everybody to see which pathway I was supposed to put these puzzle pieces together with. And ultimately, God gave me my ideas and dreams of sports ownership to unlock and reprogram my brain of you're supposed to be making movies and not producing them. So thank you for listening to that. But that's the plan and the pathway forward. I'm finishing over the next 3 days, basically our marketing prospectus deck. Then I'm
Yeah, I
going to
just got
send.
just one more question.
Ask
What
away.
what fundraising platform are you using for this
There's
going?
there's there's no fundraising platform. We need to come up with so we're starting the Troy DeVold Foundation. Troy was my partner in Unscripted before he passed away, before our big Zoom we had with Piney Woods. And so we're starting a foundation in his name. And that's where all these proceeds will go through and then be divvied out amongst different charities connected to what we set up. That's the other reason I didn't want to do it March 9th. Dion, his girl, is going to help us structure the foundation. I obviously want you involved in that. There's going to be limited people on board.
Yeah, I have a couple great fundraising apps that I built and executed. One's more for youth, under 18, under 17 years old, more for the youth sports. And the other one is more for the 18 plus crowd. It's a really cool app. It's a streaming app where you can get, Shaq or Kevin Hart to be a dealer dealing to all the people playing as their followers.
That's
And it's
amazing.
so cool. Split screen. You can have hosts an algorithm that does up to 6 million hands. One
Wow.
shoot that
Let's
does
let's incorporate that in what we're talking about doing with Malk. I remember you mentioned these to me.
Mhm.
So we should include that once you see what this is with Drew. Let's put that in front of CJ. And then when we're talking about the funding for all of
Because
this.
the one app that I have for teaming sports, that's already developed and everything. That company I worked for that built the app was Traveling Teams, and they're connected to all the traveling teams that travel for tournaments, all over the country. So they do that.
Wow.
Really cool.
Wait, dude, so we're also starting a youth professional sports league to
Yeah,
where we will monetize and pay these children like the Coogan accounts with film and TV to create generational wealth before kids become pro athletes, right? Or if they
yeah,
don't make it. Basically, a celebrity and an athlete as the coaches. Jermaine O'Neal as the commissioner for basketball. I'm getting Snoop as the commissioner for football and so forth. And we're going to do a traveling schedule in like 6 major markets with these kids. It's like traveling AAU teams, only I'm going to do it for every sport. You don't have to be a superstar. And then there'll be a tournament. It'll all be live streamed on our platform. So that app would correlate perfectly with what that basically foundational league is.
And what's great about it is that, I think you were asking Larry, what do we have to promote it if we wanted to go stream to different sites all around the world? What's great about that, you could use that as a social media tool to get out to let everybody know. So the pre-game or the pre-launch or the pre-event or conference, whatever you have, you get them to play the game. It can be virtual or it can be live. So you can get the word out through that way. So it's not just the followers you have that's going to be the dealer or the host that's in there. You can get it out to everybody virtually. So you can go into like, one room might be ladies' night, so the ladies can play socially on their games. It doesn't cost them any money to do that. And then you can win prizes along the way. So it's a great fundraiser. You don't have to, be charged the fee for, if it's an app like iOS or Droid, you don't have to. You could have a barcode and go directly to it. So we could raise a lot of money that way. But what I like about it is I wanted to have an app that could reach out in advance of your big events. So like your Jerry Telethon giveaway or something, or I did with the Special Olympics, I did a similar thing. You want to make sure everybody plays the game and knows about it and talks about it and the whole viral play of it. And then everybody knows when it can. And then all you do is you switch your app if you wanted to from virtual to live. And then all of a sudden your host shows up on there while they're dealing cards and you're talking to them.
That's amazing.
So it's
I
pretty
love
cool.
that. And then to back up too, it's really wild. What the film that I'm directing is the sequel to They Live, and They Live was about storming the news station, right, and taking it over. So in a real weird way, this has all become very meta because that's what we're doing. We're
What's the
making
name
it.
of the app?
Oh, sorry.
It's you can look at it now. It's Backstage Games, and I think there's a. Let me just look at it. It's not long. It's still in production, but it's going to be ready March 1st for that one. But if you go into Backstage Games, you can play the game. Hold on, let me just see. Yeah, so Backstage, one word, games, and it's got a big B on it. So if when you download it, whether it's iOS or Droid, it goes there. What's really cool is I'll show you in a minute here. Let me just see. So here you have, yeah, can you see that or probably not on the screen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, you just hit the open event and see it has a board like that
That's
says
awesome.
basic. And then you just hit player one, and then there could be 6 million people playing, and it tells you where to place your bet, and you place your bet, and then you start the game, and then it'll be the mine down here and the dealer up here, and there's a hit or play. Now, so let me just concentrate on this. I don't lose. I'm gonna take a hit. Okay, and I'm gonna stay in.
And
Okay, now
Don,
here.
you developed this whole thing?
No, I did it from the user requirements from the marketing standpoint. I don't have any development school
Gotcha.
skills, but yeah, the development team that I work with in Atlantic City, by the way, you can meet them when you come.
Oh,
But
that's
what's really
amazing.
cool about this is, see, you could be playing the game like I had Cool in the Gang, like Robert Bell. He's playing on Ladies' Night on the virtual room, and he comes up here in the live screen and he starts talking to the ladies. He just walks into the camera at the studio and is streamed, and all the people that are playing on ladies' nights get to see him. And then he cracks open a bottle of champagne and then say play celebration. So it's a really cool tool. Again, there's not a lot of
I
marketing
love
out
that.
there. There's not a lot of Instagram out on it. We're keeping it. We might have only 2 followers. We really haven't launched it. It's going to be a March 15th launch, but it works and I tested it. And that's why I asked the question. What we found out, we got so many people that wanted to play the game. We didn't even promote it. And we already got 21,000 people that are playing the game socially because
This
it's
is what
fun.
I'm saying, man. This type of stuff. And Don, you haven't really got to interact much with Bossum Sauce. So Bossum, Larry, and Dion got to meet out here in LA. Bossum's a little super genius. He's 27 years old. I met him through King Batch. Batch. So that's the other thing, guys. King Batch is like my business partner and producing partner. So anything we do and want to promote, we have 25 million followers just from his Instagram at the drop of a dime, right, Don? So I could connect you a batch. You could just use him on that if you have that much engagement. This was the whole point of all this. But I met Bassam through Batch when I had the big dinner at Yamashiro's to try to put that ownership group together that led to all this. And basically, he you guys got to interact because he created a social media platform called Rainbow, which I'll send you the deck on. I mean, we're talking 700 million user engagement already just by what he's created. That's our Instagram side of our platform where the live streaming sides connect to your city. And then the on-demand side is Lucelle. And then there's Isaac Moneypenny. So I'm going to do an email with these names I just said in the top of the week, separate from the educational stuff. I want to start wrapping your head around everything on the table from the marketing standpoint with what we have.
Okay. One last thing. If you do download the app, go scroll all the way to the bottom, and there's a roll of dice, and you can roll the dice if you haven't played the game in 24 hours. Every day you can just roll a dice, and you shake your phone, and it gives you points, so you don't have to pay for anything.
Dude, that's
So
awesome.
you scroll all the way to the bottom, you shake your phone. It tells you it's three dice to come up, and it takes the numbers times 1,000, and then it puts it into your game total once you create a profile, and then you can play forever. So if you run out of money playing, which can happen, you wait 24 hours and then you can play again and shake the dice and go. So it's really cool. It's meant so you can play it. College kids love it. 18 to 24-year-olds just love it. And, we haven't even launched it yet. So it's going to be launched the 15th of March. So
We're also with David Leapson, who's sick, who's the six-time MMA partner. There's this company out of China that he discovered who's basically they're almost like these telenovela soaps, right? But they're done in like basically video game form. So they're 1 minute clips. And then it's similar to what you're talking about. You have to like buy more points and everything to watch the stories. Dude, no one else is doing this. It's like printing money because we have global impact with India and Israel. We're gonna tap into those markets and do like soap sort of like one Dorito bite, 1 minute stories, right? That are 60 minutes long, but you've got to buy 60 clips. And he's got a whole basically deck overview for this. So I'll share that with you guys too. That's another basically combined element of everything.
Yeah, that's what we did. Is like we started this game out in the casino, and that was really cool. What we did, we didn't want to charge anybody. So what happened? There's a time limit before you. What happens after you play free? Then after a while, like maybe a 10-minute time limit, then you can go and buy points and win prizes. So like if you want to win, autographed Cool Bell champagne, you can pay for $5 more chips, or $6 or $4, whatever you want. Or if you want to win a car and you got 10,000 followers, or you want to give away a Kevin Hart Rolex watch or whatever, people are going to try to win that. They're going to put all that money in. So if you have a lot of people playing, and at $5 or $10 a pop, it adds up, and you're giving away a car. It's unbelievable if you can get that many people. So
Dude, no, that's genius, man. Because you think about it, right? The people that spend around the world like to try to get the car, and the car standpoint from the marketing is what you spend a
yeah,
hundred thousand dollars, right, on some like Mercedes, and it's 100K marketing spend, but you're making millions of dollars off everybody trying to get it. It's like
yeah. And
genius.
I've got all kinds of brands who want to give away free prizes to get their marketing out. So what happens is you could get all kinds of cool stuff to win. And the idea is just to get people, they're not really paying to play. So it's not gambling. It's like a subscription. And, you play to win. You enter it in to win after you play free socially.
That's
And it's,
amazing.
it's got a time limit on purpose, so it's not addictive. So it shuts you off in 24. You run out of points, you're shut down. You got to wait 24 hours. So
Okay.
it's good, but yeah. So
That's
and the other
amazing.
better.
Don, let me ask you, I'm just off video because there's a ton of stuff going on over here. Let me ask you real quick. Do you know anybody in the marketing branding side at Mercedes? Because I asked for a specific reason. If you guys remember about 20 years ago when they starred Clive Owen, BMW did a massive marketing campaign called BMW Short Films, and they
Yeah, I
got a
remember.
bunch of primary, yeah. So that I want to do that with Mercedes and the G Wagon specifically. And I
I
want, and
don't on I don't on Mercedes. I do with BMW. Sony used to be right next to BMW. We were in the same area. Mercedes was there too, but BMW was closer. I have to check my LinkedIn and see if I'm connected with any. If I am, it's not going to be a high level. It's going to be
okay.
a regional person, not a headquarters person.
Okay. I'm gonna
Um,
reach out. I was talking to Drew about that because I want to take like we've got iconic action directors that we're working with, and I want to do a whole Mercedes basically in all the locations we want to build, Israel, India. I want to take G Wagons and go shoot basically specific short films connected to everything we're doing. with our cast that I can produce for stuff. I'm just thinking of ideas
Yeah,
on the
mine are
global scale.
my contacts are Subaru, not GM, but Chevrolet, Subaru, Kia
Okay.
is a good one,
Okay.
but and Hyundai. That's it. So, yeah, none of the big affluent cars really.
All good.
Well, hey, just really quick, because before we move off of that topic, Don, how you doing? I'm Dion. I'm the general manager for Connect Your City, and I own DPro TV.
Great.
DProTV.com. Please go check out the site. But um, I'm looking at this app and everything that's been said so far in the conversation. We have some pretty unique stuff that we're doing here in Phoenix, but we're also, like we said, we partnered up in other places. One of those places is Virginia Tech. So we're looking to do. I played football at Virginia Tech. My college roommate played football at Virginia Tech, and now we're actually going to be going out there to film live. I mean, to broadcast live out there for the spring game, which is the April 11th and 12th. So I can see where we can utilize this app in the sporting realm with the athletes, as well as very would be very interested in talking to potential sponsors for sponsoring that event itself and bringing more celebrities out to celebrate that event. And then we want to recreate that because once we do the spring game, we're going to be going back out there for at least 2 or 3 games for Virginia Tech. We have already on Connect to Your City right now. We have on the Hash who does shows at Nebraska. So we're going to be the University of Nebraska. So we're going to be taking the same formula and replicating it all over the country. So I can see where this app would actually benefit a lot because we can have a lot more fan engagement with something like this as well.
Yeah, I think it's great. First of all, shout out to the Barber brothers, Tiki and Rondé, Virginia Tech guys.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
yeah, so that's really good. But I will tell you that my expertise is with the NCAA. So I have 950 colleges that I'm marketing to. So I have a lot of experience with that with sponsors and football games. I have found, and I also what I have is really unique is the I Am Leagues, which I Am Leagues, if you check it out, I Am Leagues is the intramural. So it's the tier 2 athletes that are playing the flag football, playing 3-on-3 basketball, reserving at the rec centers and that kind of stuff. So I Am Leagues is a great platform. The reason why that is a great platform, plus I had the college bookstores as well, not so great because they go by NCAA standards as well. What we got today is we just got to be a little careful with what we do because some consider this app as gambling, which it clearly is not. So if we get to the right people, we could probably do it. I don't think we'd get any pushback on Virginia Tech. What we're going to do, we're going to have similar to what Will was talking about. We're going to have like the Gibson Garage, which is one of the best experiences. If you haven't been to Nashville, you got to go see the Gibson Garage. It's a great experiential
Gibson
showcase
Garage.
there. Gibson Garage right in Nashville, Tennessee. But like Las Vegas, Nashville, Atlantic City, a couple other places. Um, who knows what happens with LA now? But we're gonna have studios all over to bring people to. So celebrities and the athletes and the real influencers are going to be there. But that's not what I saw. I saw what you saw. I saw putting together a mobile unit as tailgate parties. You've got all
Mhm.
these college players are getting paid big time money and they get paid well. Think about it. If they want to mark up, if we charge $1.99 to play and they want to mark it up to 10 and they think they can get it with their fans, that's their money. Take it. So there's a lot of money that could be made. So what I saw is a mobile unit that would go out from college to college, sponsored by maybe 3 or 4 sponsors, and bringing sponsors my expertise. So like Wells Fargo, whoever would sponsor, and we'd take this mobile unit out as big RV. Don't think of a van. Think of the big, huge, could even be an 18-wheeler if it's that big. But think of a big RV that goes out to games, right? And tailgates, and you get, you know, maybe not the big games like Virginia Tech, but like my girls went to Rutgers, graduated in 21, and Rutgers is a big tailgate party, but everybody leaves after the first quarter. So you had that big tailgate party, and that you could have the players or the
Dude,
celebrities or the
Don,
in there and to come on out and play. So it's
the,
huge. And I've done all kinds of, college tailgate parties all
The
my life.
Big Picture World concert series. I want to do it with literally every single college
Yeah,
during college football season.
absolutely, absolutely. What I was going with real quick, Will, I didn't want to. I don't know if these guys are joining us or not, but what I wanted to say is that basically what it comes down to is I've always worked through the health centers. I've always worked through NASPA, the student affair groups, the Bacchus group, which is the health centers. So I have established myself in an IM leagues as well, established myself as not getting around. And I'm actually the one that brought MTV to spring break, and I MTVU. I'm the one that helped with
Wow.
that because they didn't meet the standards. They couldn't understand, like, why can't we market the colleges? Well, we had to create MTVU so they could get around the NCAA standards to put in all their streaming, and back then it wasn't streaming, digital, and got around that. So they know my reputation is what I'm going to do when I ask for venue access to colleges. They know I'm not there to beat any rules or get around any rules or something. No, I'm going to follow the rules and do the best I can and bring in the right sponsors. So, that could be the National Guard, that could be the Navy, that could be the Army, that could be a lot of good people, P&G, people who are respectable. But then you always have the other group too, that can come out and hang out and have the after hour party or whatever it might be. So you got to show a little respect to the NCAA and you'll get in the door. I put on a lot of college concerts, and the whole idea, you drive them from the colleges down south. So the month of March, you got, at that time, you had Panama City Beach, you had South Padre, you had Lake Havasu, and now it's in Vegas and all over different places. But you could gravitate to the south all day long and push Big World, right to spring break and have big parties there.
Have you
Just
are you familiar with the Arizona Bowl that they did this year with Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre and Gin and Juice?
Well, I'm familiar with what I know is the bowl game, which we once sponsored, the Tortita Bowl. That's the game that I know. That's not what you're talking about.
No, well, no. It's the Arizona Bowl. It's down in Tucson this year, and it was the first for
Oh,
a
it's a
couple of different things. One, it was the first time it was sponsored by a celebrity. First time it was sponsored by a rapper. First time it was sponsored by a liquor, which was gin and juice. And then this is the first time that they used their nonprofits to be able to pay each athlete through an NIL deal. Each athlete, not just the stars, all the athletes. So they raised over $1 million, and we were their media partner. We worked with like 140 nonprofits there, and this was the first year we did it, but it gave us a lot of ideas of how to really monopolize and maximize on our experience every year moving forward. Because we'll be with them and we'll be out there for the next for the foreseeable future. As long as Snoop is out there, we're doing it. Same thing
right.
with NASCAR. We're working with NASCAR as well. So we're putting together quite a few things, but it's the same type of formula. You talked about the tailgating experience. We're talking about the same exact thing, and much more. So with what you're talking about in your area of expertise, and you said 900 different colleges.
Yeah,
You're working.
950 different colleges. So I represent 950 colleges. If you go on IM Leagues, you'll see IM Leagues is it's a school site. It's an EDU site, and I can market to every student through their site. And what it does is what we do, we give away our business model. We give away the rec center, a way to be able to track all people, get insurance claims, make sure they got the paperwork, make sure they know their meeting, sort of like what you do in high school with Naviance, right? For your guidance counselor to apply for college. You give away the platform free in the rec centers use it, and all of a sudden everybody who has to play intramural sports, doesn't matter what level you are, you got to play. And you're talking 6.5 million intramural sports. Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State each have over 20,000 sports players that sign up all the time. So you have access to them to remind them they're scheduled, to market to them and do whatever you need to do. So putting a concert or putting together a hypnotist tour or whatever you want during the winters or whatever, you can do it all day long. But yeah, 950 colleges and so forth. I work with the fraternities and the sororities as well. There's a big micro influencers as well. And then you got the health centers. So it gives a lot of credibility because when you work with a health center, you get the pharma companies and the people with the budget. So it all works pretty good.
What's the name
So
of the site again?
IM League stands for Intramural League. So if you go to IM Leagues, IM for intramural, I is in, I don't know what, influence, M for Mary, and then League, and then leagues, it's actually plural. And
Excellent.
depending on where you go, if you go into the Penn State, it's then slash Penn State, and if you go in Ohio State, it's slash Ohio State, and so forth. But it's a giveaway, to the rec center, so they use it to be able to track, and it's got leaderboards on it and everything, so you can keep track if you have a tournament. Like we're doing the rock paper scissors tournament, we have the paper league football on there, got all that stuff. It's so much fun. You can play it all day long. But what's great is you sell advertisements and sponsors to sponsor it, and sponsors the tournaments and so forth. So
And
it's
your
a lot
team
of
Did
neat
goes.
you
stuff.
just say a rock, paper, scissors league?
Yeah,
I
it's
love it.
all. It's like a poker personality, like we did chess. I did man versus machine with Kasparov and everything, with 3D and everything. But chess doesn't have the poker players. They don't have the personalities. But the rock paper scissors people, they have the personality. You get them to interview people, and they say, "What's your strategy?" And they won't go, "Strategy? There's no strategy." They'll bullshit right through the whole interview. You get them on a camera, and they'll be saying, "Yeah, this is what I do. I throw down two and then one, and then I hit them, and they're all poker personalities. Everyone who plays rock paper scissors is a poker personality, poker tournament personality, and those are the ones you want to get on camera, and those are the ones that are going to go viral. And now you can stream it, whatever. Amp Energy Drink used to be the sponsor for many years, and then Pepsi took it away from me. They said, we can do this ourselves. I go, I know you can do it yourselves, but I'm the one who came up with the idea. And they said, well, we'll come back for the championship for you. And I said, yeah, thanks a lot. What am I supposed to do? They were one of my biggest clients. I'm not supposed to say no. But yeah, we can do all that. And then the paper football league, the ones you throw across the table and it lands on the corner, and you flip it, you kick the triangle, and it goes
Yeah,
through.
yeah.
You do the field goals. It's pretty fun stuff. So yeah, it's your normal flag football. It could be bowling, it could be, 3-on-3
Soundboard.
basketball, corn toss, yeah, yeah, all that stuff. Even what do you call it? Oh God, there's a name for it. The trick shot leg. What's the name of that big company that does that? Trick shots. Um,
Top
I forget.
shot, top shot, right?
No, not that one. There's another one that's really big. It's all on YouTube. Yeah, but I can't think of it now. But yeah, trick shot leagues are good. Nerf Nerf league shooting guns and that kind of stuff with Nerf bullets, and it's crazy what college kids want to do. Yeah, it's really good.
Well,
Good.
I'd be very interested in speaking because we got to like on that one is a definitive time frame because we know exactly when we're got to get out there. So I would love to get with you maybe after this call and really hash some things out that way. Get some let you know what we got going on since we're coming together anyway. We might as well get started.
Yes.
So
Yeah, and spring football is great. Obviously, when you get into the SECs and those teams too, they're really big. And what I mean by big, not only, I mean, they fill a stadium, but what I mean by big, sponsors want to be part of that. Sponsors want to be part of that spring football.
And I'm glad while we're at it, Don, I wanted to update you. So I've got some interest from Fox as it relates to your, vision of wanting to recreate sort of a new Jackson 5, right, as a competition series and everything
Right.
else. So I'm gonna do just an email with you and me and that contact at Fox and try to get a call set up, for some point over the next couple weeks.
Well, why do you want to do it with Fox though? I mean, what's the
Well,
advantage?
as a because so Troy, before Troy passed away, um, he all of his old because he was nominated for multiple Emmys and unscripted. He worked in that space for 20 years. So back before I met all of you amazing people, and I was trying to put together co-finance deals, I got interest from Fox in co-financing with us, basically stuff in the unscripted space. So competition shows, things of that nature. They were already engaging with me on that. And they asked, what we were working on. And I said, I can't get into details, but I've got something that basically involves the Jackson 5. And so they were like, oh, wow, we'd love to engage and talk about that. So we're going to have our own funding to where I don't have to do anything from a co-finance standpoint. And then after Troy passed away, I had a conversation with my friend David, who was a bigger deal in unscripted than Troy was. And David fully came in, and then we created this series. It's going to be on All of Us in Our Lives. But That's just on the table. We don't have to engage with them. I just wanted
Yeah,
to
the
let
only
you
reason
know.
why the only reason why we got to tread a little slowly in the beginning, what I think, I mean, where the money is, believe it or not, like the
I mean,
music
that's
catalog is
us.
what the music catalog is one thing. I mean, but I mean that just pays royalties. That's gold in the music. But really, all the images that we have, I mean, we have all 12 episodes of variety show. Not only do we have the finished product that aired, we have all the raw footage that led up to that, including the whole songs that created it. So we just have unlimited amount of great, it's mostly standard def, shot. But we have great footage, and we have over 30,000, I don't know, maybe it's 40,000 images. Not only the Jackson 5 stuff, but we also have the Victory Tour because that's the Jackson. That wasn't owned by Sony Music or by Motown or Universal. So we have these images. And as you know, with AI, what I want to do with all these images, I want to create and charge $29 for, as you do with VR and AR today. I mean, Shaq is doing a lot of that stuff with him popping out of barcodes on any images and selling it. We could take every single one of the images that we have and everything of our video. We have high definition video of everything as well, taken from the Rolls Royce that we rolled out of the Jacksons to the Grand Piano that we rolled out of Catherine Jackson's home, and got videos of all that stuff. So we have access to all that photography. Well, what's great about AI is I can create whatever I want to create because we have all the content from everything that was shot by Joe Jackson between label company. So the images is something that we can get out there and we can sell. So that's just money just going
Those
on
those
crazy.
images also what we're doing with the Canyon Country store, which I don't even know if I've really talked to you about, Don. So
Yeah, a
we're
little bit. I saw that in one of the marketing plans or something. You talked a
Yeah,
little bit.
so we're taking that global, right? That's our Air One / Whole Foods. And then my whole purpose with that is there's going to be 7 stores, the 7 locations with what we're doing around the world. And the inside of those stores are all going to be themed. Unlike your standard grocery store, they're going to be themed to entertainment, pop culture, and music, right? So, for example, some of this MJ fine art that we have as it relates to the 100 pieces, we're going to split those pieces up across all of our locations across the world. It creates our own Disney World ecosystem. And we'll start with Mississippi and what we're doing in Mexico. And then I want to do a complete Jackson 5 Broadway show produced by Bruce Long, who's won 4 Tony Awards and did Memphis the Musical. And that's the whole purpose of all of this, right? So even independent of being able to build a Broadway row, like I wrote about on Fairfax and the last overview you guys saw, we will be able to do said Broadway show either in what we build on the grounds at Piney Woods or in Mexico. So
Yeah, I think it's great if we could get somebody that, AI music's one thing, AI videos is another, creating an AI, movie, creating an AI digital image and so forth are really big. Really, Sam and I are talking right now to Westfield Properties. Westfield Properties, um, they're more affluent today than they were before versus like a Simon Malls or whatever.
yeah,
But Westfield wants to change, like they have 2 in New Jersey here. One is the Garden State Parkway, and the other one is in the World Trade Center in New York, which I was just there yesterday. And they were showing me everything that they want to turn that used to be digital signage. They want to turn everything into AI artwork, and they want to plaster everywhere they can, from Jimi Hendrix to Michael Jackson to Prince, you name it. Because what people are doing, I mean, they creating the AI images of a sunflower and putting it on the wall. They want to change their whole walls, the wall of fame or whatever you want to call it. They want to just have a wall dedicated toward famous artists or famous, whatever it may be. Could be athletes in schools, could be all that. We could do that all day long.
yep.
Yeah.
This is
There's
all
just endless
materials.
stuff that we can do.
Endless, man. So
Yeah.
I just while we were talking, I shot CJ an email to catch up the top of the week. Larry, I know I said I was going to connect us directly with him. Still doing that. I needed to finalize some of these pieces, and really, I didn't want to connect us directly with him until I wrapped up stuff for the Shaq College of Sports Media. I've been having some resistance pushback from Lenny Daniels just because this is so much to throw somebody into, as you guys all know, because you've all dove into it. So I'm trying to
Yeah.
get his head wrapped around the fact that, brother, I can I can source Shaq myself through multiple ways. I can build a college. Clearly, I'm building a movie studio. I've been it's been a little slow care standpoint as it relates. My goal is to get him and Will connected. Um, That's
Well,
the whole
I
purpose.
can help with Shaq. He's right here in Newark, and he's in the Shaq Towers that was built by real estate guy, an Egyptian guy, Boyer, and he built the whole thing. And he's a big investor, huge investor.
Awesome.
He's out of New Brunswick, and he lives right here in my Jersey Shore area, right in Colts Neck. Not
So
only that, Mike Paris, who's the agent and the for Shaq and Kevin Hart and all those people. Mike Paris is also lives up in North Jersey as well. He's been
okay.
down to Atlantic City a couple times, but those are good. But Lenny, I mean, I think I know the guy. I think I worked with him on
You
the Turner
guys,
stuff
yeah,
on the
I would
March.
love for you if you want a one-on-one with him a little bit. It was the same deal with you and me, Don. We first met.
Yeah,
I'm like, dude, I'm doing all this. This is all happening. Come in. If you could help me engage with him some more. His big thing is, because look, he was in media 27 years, man. He's enjoying family time. He doesn't want to be taken away from his family. I'm like, we'll build that thing in Atlanta. You don't have to leave. He's all about the education and specifically figuring out how to monetize youth sports. That is exactly what we are doing. So
yeah,
I just, if you could start engaging with him or just send
yeah.
him a direct email, please do.
I'll do that because Lenny and I, he doesn't know this, but I mean, I knew all the top people at CNN and TBS used to be all together in the headquarters. And so I did the St. Petersburg, Russia Goodwill games and worked directly with Ted Turner and Larry
Wow.
Goodman. And then not only that, I did the whole March Madness. So I had to work with Lenny at that one time. Um, I was really more about at that time. I was getting a paycheck, and I worked in marketing. It's more about executing the events to get it done. We put a big jumbotron in 1996 in Atlanta Olympics right on the headquarters of
I
CNN.
remember that. Wow.
So I have a lot to tell them, and plus CNN and TBS, I gave them the first advertising buy for millions of dollars. So
Wow.
and retainers. So
Yeah,
I could tell them.
Don, it's supposed to be you and Lenny talking, man. Okay,
Yeah,
so
it
yeah,
is
if
because here's the thing is that I know what he's doing. I read that 2-pager Word document, whatever. I'm not really, I mean, you could build what he did in Atlanta. I mean, I'm not so crazy about the PowerPoint, but the Word document is really what he's doing. He's doing what I'm doing, right? What he's doing, and I know Shaq likes it because I've had him use the technology, the AR, and he loves it. And so what they're trying to do is create all these images. And I already have all the images of Batman and everything. Like he has a Pepsi bottle. You take your app, you take a picture of the barcode
well,
of
I
the
mean,
Pepsi.
sorry, I was to say that the big thing Lenny wants to do is build a college of sports and media, and
Yeah,
that's the biggest thing. I know there was other elements of that, but the only thing I just so you know, the only thing I have focused with him on was literally wanting to bring him in because of all of his relationships to professional sports. When we're trying to build a pro sports arena in Mexico, he knows everybody, but I also have iconic athletes already. But I
yeah.
want him specifically because he wants to do this college of sports and media. So I want Will to run literally K through 12 and then Lenny the college, and you're on both sides of that from our initial conversation.
Yeah, I think that's pretty easy to do. I mean, like the
It is.
IMG Academy, but that's not the sports media. You could definitely do it. And guess who you have connections to? Sony and broadcast. Everybody thinks Sony is electronics, but Sony has some of the best. They're now their official NFL sponsor again, which is great. Which means they have some of the best streaming to the best uh, professional and broadcast equipment, right? So that would be a great sponsor. Sony would be
And
a great sponsor for the
It,
streaming
you
media
bringing
right.
up Sony, sorry, this is activating my brain. So the IP that I'm directing, They Live, right? Which we're recreating, doing a whole franchise around. And then there's a utilizing the new Ray-Ban Meta glasses to create
Yeah,
listen to this game we came up with, Bruce and I. A Pokemon Go style game utilizing the new Ray-Ban
that's
glasses.
cool.
It's They Live. We're gonna hide $10 million somewhere in the world, and the only way to find it is by going and playing the game, which makes you have to go in the real world and communicate with people like Grand Theft Auto. But it makes people connect and talk to find the clues to find the $10 million that's hidden. And then
Yeah,
we're going to do like cachet drops, right? So somebody goes under the Santa Monica Pier, they find one of the drops. The drop has a first class ticket with expenses paid to go play the game in Paris. So we created that. And here's the deal Sony, Don, doesn't know that they own the rights to They Live in conjunction with Universal. My friend Carter Swan is one of Sony's main producers. He oversees all of the PlayStation video game IP. He produced Uncharted with Wahlberg. He did Gran Turismo, massive titles. I'm connecting with Carter to set it up, but there's going to be a situation where I may need to start having you rub some juice over there with people you know, because the rights were transferred to Carlico Pictures in '93 to Columbia TriStar, and they've
Right.
been in public record hidden there. I started all this last February. It took a year to get through everything. I have secured the pathway to do this. This is the vision that I put forward, co-financing with studios, us funding the movie to have the IP. This will be a co-finance situation between Big Picture World, Sony, and Universal. So when I'm dealing with the
Yeah. So
Sony side,
when I talk to Sony, I'm talking more, the equipment, the PlayStation.
Yeah.
Like I launched PlayStation in '94, and I got all the properties to sign for the games. That's what separated from Xbox and everybody else. We went after the sports side of the business, and we made sure EA Sports and everybody else would follow the line and publish the games. Because what we did, we negotiated with NHL, NFL, NBA, all everybody else, Major League Baseball, and we sold games with the property rights. So we nailed that down. But my strength is the PlayStation people, the business, the professional, the headphones, the cameras, the Sony equipment, the jumbotrons,
Right.
everything else like that. So I stepped back. I stepped back from the Columbia Pictures, which is I call still Sony Pictures, and TriStar. Stepped back with it after the big producers Sid Ganis left there and Don Levy
oh,
left there. I kind of like I don't know anybody. I do know a
okay,
couple
that's
people.
okay. I mean, I'm
Well,
I'm
Don,
just trying. I'm trying to stack the deck, right? I'm covered with Carter, but
Yeah.
the more the better. Okay, good to
hey,
know.
hey,
I
Don,
will
hey,
call.
Don,
Yeah.
listen, man, thanks you for participating in this call. Your background is amazing, and the way you have described things as far as what you've been able to penetrate is amazing. And I wanted to just share with you a few things that we know we have some things that we're going to do in the future, but there's some things that we can do in the short term that's in line with what Will's doing and in line with everybody else, and probably will be a catalyst for encouraging them. We currently are testing some channels that are going to take youth sports, going to take college sports and retired athletes and reintroduce them into money. So we have Nilo TV, name, image, likeness, ownership TV. We have Transfer Portal TV, which is going to be colossal with all the athletes transfer. And then the Heisman Trophy winner this year, he was discovered on the 7-on-7 team with Cam Newton. So we launched 7-on-7 Sports. All those channels that we have are already being tested and ready to go to get a relationship with PlayStation. I mean, with the gaming system, and to get that with the college programs you've already implemented. We be able to dominate sports within the next 3 to 5 years because we'll have access to all the talent. The early talent recognition is key. So 7-on-7 sports, having a broadcast capability, using the equipment relationships that you have to cover regional 7-on-7, all the games, and putting it all within our hub, getting those kids recognition as well as the NIL, getting athletes money from the other IM league, as well as being able to do the transfer portal where we get first dibs at every athlete that wants to transfer, every coach that wants a job. Those channels are already being tested. All we have to do is connect with some of the things you mentioned today with the IM League, with your is it PlayStation? You said
Yeah.
uh, um, PlayStation, and get even getting the athletes early stage in those games. I'm saying that stuff is ready to do now, and it still fits in line with what we want to do with athletes and getting them in movies and all that stuff as well. So I love for us to have a conversation with me, you, and Will and Dion about
Yeah,
doing
and
what we've
what's
done.
great, what the
Absolutely.
NFL and other sports are really backing is the women's flag football and everything else that you
Yes,
have out there. Not to push
exactly.
any DEI stuff, but I mean,
Yeah,
women's flag football is one that
mhm.
is, and women's soccer is like the best, right? So,
Exactly.
so there's like sports, but in addition to what you're talking about, the portal, look at the wrestlers. Look at how much money the
Mhm.
wrestlers are making, right? You get an
Oh,
Olympic,
Exactly.
man.
dude, guys,
Iowa's
wait.
kicking
Oh my
ass.
God.
Yeah,
Sorry. You
Exactly.
just,
And that's what
you
we
got
did
me.
we
Yep.
started that piece at Arizona State with their wrestling team as well, because we're out in Phoenix. So and we started the Nilo TV right before Daniels transferred to LSU. So we missed them by, a few months. So you're absolutely right. Being able to take those non-top tier sports and give them visibility. That's exactly what you
Well, and
described earlier.
And with the wrestling, remember Tyron Woodley's my best friend, one of them, and business partners, and he's a national champion and wrestler too. So is Michael Chandler. We have that, and then we're starting like a WWE style, very different wrestling organization. Nigel McGuinness, who's one of AEW's main people. My boy Taylor too from the Rascals. He's from Toledo. Santino Marella. I've collected wrestlers, so we're gonna have a freestanding arena in Mexico to tap into the lucha libre side, but that's
Mhm.
something we're going to broadcast as well.
And
So
Yeah,
and Will,
I think
with you
to
doing this
tie it
app,
all together, the glue that you need though is really I kind of just to segue back to the sports media side, right? These kids are in between, am I really a division whatever athlete? Am I really just, what do I need to do? So the path you take them, what's great when you tie in the sports meeting with the athlete and everything else is you could be leading in a different direction. All we want is the future leaders, right? So we just want the
exactly,
people. My idea of a future leader, I want a customer for life because I've got brands who want to
exactly,
market and get them away from home and away from mom and use product they never used before. So
exactly.
we want these future leaders. So I think if you branch,
Mm-hmm.
out, you could have go sports media, like
Yes.
you know, it just you get people interested. Say, well, maybe I'm not that dad. Maybe I'm not that college athlete. Maybe I should
Hmm.
go into sports media. So I think
Right.
if you go that direction, you got something different than everybody else. Because you got the IMG Academy, right? And that's just people who are the sports athletes that are diehard. That's why I like doing the intramurals
and
because
that got bought for $2 billion, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
IMG.
just really quick, guys, because I mean, we're talking. This is my history. You're talking about my history. I literally went through what you're talking about, and from a mental health standpoint, you know, athletes who put their all into the sports, if they don't make it to that final level, they have a hard crash that they go through. So
exactly.
being able to educate and let them participate in what we're talking about, like you said, it broadens the spectrum out for them. It gives them a better idea for their plan Bs, their plan Cs. And then what I'm so glad that Larry actually spoke about the name, image, likeness. I call it the name, image, and likeness series or package because we have multiple channels. With us being able to do what we're doing, um, we have literally came up with not even say me. I'm going to say because the genius behind the idea is Larry. He came up with an idea of how these athletes can own, through a program that we can act and own some of these businesses that are these mom and pop businesses because we're in a baby boomer era, and eventually they're going to have to sell these businesses. So we're looking at we're branching into that as well, so they have ownership as far as when they leave this arena, what are they doing afterwards? They can still be local heroes. They can still be doing things to their community, using our media as the bridge between whatever event or athlete or content creator and these businesses, being that bridge for them.
Well, Will, I
Yeah.
mentioned that only to say, what's the use of Shaq creating a sports media to keep these guys, in sports? I mean, when they don't have a job.
Well, no, it's it's
No,
it's
no, I'm
not
saying
Shaq.
no,
It's
no, no,
literally. Sorry, go
no.
ahead.
I'm not. No, I'm saying by creating the channels that we're creating, we're giving them opportunities for jobs. What Dion was saying is that
Yes.
we have not NIL University, NIL.university, where we can put them in the university and teach them how to, in brief, how to acquire a business. We have some equity search firms because 12.5 million baby boomers are selling their businesses. And their sons, like my kids, no one wants to buy or take over the business, so they're forced to sell. So teaching these kids how they can actually take their NIL money and put it towards partial ownership in a business and have them work at the businesses during the summer. So we give them those different options. But early talent recognition by having these other television networks, Will working with Shaq to create these people that want to be able to be in sports broadcasting, whatever. I think you have a full package. You
Well,
can get
you're
done.
right. So it's basically our film school. So I'm creating
Yep,
Full Sail University, guys.
exactly,
That's what
exactly.
I'm doing. I'm building Full Sail with Shaq. That's what I want to
Yes.
do in Atlanta. Because
Hmm.
here's the deal. Ain't nobody got I love Full Sail to death. I was a
Hmm.
student there. It
Hmm.
educated me. They only care about money. I'm gonna be
Yeah,
real. It's not about
gotcha.
the fucking students. There needs
Yeah.
to be an alternative to Full Sail. And so our program is going to be this. We're going to have K through 12 at Piney Woods, and
Hmm.
then it's going to be a never ending ecosystem.
That's
Those
it.
kids will go and study media and go to film school at
Hmm.
Shack's College of Sports and Media while they also get into sports broadcasting. It's for the people that
Exactly.
can't be athletes, right? And that's
That's
what I
it.
want to build. And if it's not Shaq, it can be fucking Penny Hard. I don't. It doesn't have to be Shaq.
Hey,
We want
No,
to
not
hey,
build
even.
Larry,
a
can you
college.
show? Can you speak on what the technology and the application for people who don't have internet
And
services like we were talking about in Africa?
you
Can you
guys
kind of
keep
go into
talking.
that?
I got to get on a call real quick, but I'll
All
be
right.
right back. I'm not jumping off. Just give me a second.
But
You
yeah,
mean
all of the pieces.
a satellite like a navigator, whatever.
Well, what we're saying is that working with Intel, they have some technology that stabilizes internet that's really awful. Essentially, you can take 1 megabyte and run 12 computers high speed with the technology they have. But I've been deploying that for learning centers in underserved populations, internet challenged areas, and as well as Africa and all that. So I'm saying being able to teach editing and all that stuff remotely and create
Oh, I get it. I get it. Yeah,
exactly what
that's a
he's
great idea.
saying. Right. So then, but your component with that's immediately we can launch a collaboration within the next 30 days, as far as what we talked about collectively on this phone. But having 7-on-7 TV, having transfer portal TV, and Nilo TV, that's what we own currently. And so it's not even a matter of competition. We just now have to get the components that you mentioned today, some of the components, for whether it's advertising, sponsorship, and in a collaboration between us, we could really dominate the market as far as early recognition for talent that wants to transfer, talent that's going to be something in the future, and pro athletes that need to be each pro athlete. Mean Joe Green was one of my favorite.
Yeah.
Right now, if he was appearing somewhere, I would go and see him. But those
Yeah.
guys aren't taking advantage of the database of people that already still loves them and reintroducing them to these digital assets. To say if they had 10,000 people paying them $1 a month for these guys that are retired, that'd be some great money. I'm just saying, but we have an opportunity to do that.
Yeah, no, I get it. I one thing I was saying to Will, what I'd like to do, where all the money that is comes from sports is funded the school. So kind of did that, done that, and when like I think what you're talking about is IPTV and all that stuff too. But
Mhm.
I'm just saying what I like to do is give back to the arts and the non-sports,
Yes.
And so
Hmm.
what I can do with the Michael Jackson stuff that we have, and it's the age of innocence. It's the Jacksons that nobody talks about,
Yes.
before they had boy problems and before they had drug problems and so forth like that. But that age of innocence is good because what it is we can film and theater, and people in grade school can learn how to create stuff using our footage and so forth like that. So I'm really trying to concentrate really more on the arts and the
Hmm.
non-sports stuff, because
Yes.
those are the people who really need the money funding and things like that.
Absolutely.
Just like
And we,
instruments, like I work with Cool and the Gang on refurbishing instruments and then giving them to schools in needs that don't have, whether it could be violin
right.
or it could be guitar, right? So I'm all trying to do more stuff with the arts
That's excellent.
and the theater and that kind of stuff, and less with the sport, because I pretty much my I pretty much have rolled everything I can do in sports. But as
Right.
far as priority go, that's what I'm trying to do, is really focus
Well, that's excellent. Well,
on that.
we've been there with you. One of my early channels. Sometimes I have channels as spec channels. So one channel I have is on Broadway TV because the arts is where my first company was called Art Spoon Incorporated because I believed in the arts. Then I found that most artists end up broke. So I created this platform. My first channel was Art Spoon Incorporated. So I have a heart for the arts because my family was the ones that created a boom for patchwork quilts. First women's cooperative in Alabama and Bloomingdale's and Saks Fifth Avenue. Those quilts fed the entire community. So arts and artisans, and then got in the music business and had 132 artists with 32 record labels. And I found that if you didn't own TV or radio, it doesn't matter. So I want to put TV around what you're doing. So we create a arts channel because without visibility, it's kind of hard to keep sustaining your fundraising. So take that talent, put it on Broadway. We take the films and the theatricals and put it on TV, get funding. But we build the TV platforms. That's exactly what we do for for any people,
Mhm.
places, and things, corporations, special interest groups, or the arts. So that already exists, and we got a bunch of channels just dedicated, because I believe niche audiences is what's going to keep us in businesses, and being able to take that niche audience and create communities for an affinity group that will serve that niche for the rest of our lives. That's what I want to do, is have that
Yeah,
one
there's
niche.
just so much to do. I mean, there's just so much to do. I mean, the stuff that I have on my plate, the stuff that you guys have on the plate, how it could be all integrated. We've got to figure that out.
Yes.
I think it's also about funding and what
Hmm.
direction I don't know anything about Mocha. I don't know if you guys know anything about Mocha. I really don't know
No,
anything about those guys.
I know.
They're right here in New York, so I can meet with them
Hmm.
anytime we want. They're
Yeah.
this Moses, whatever his name is, he's the CEO, and
Hmm.
CJ
Hmm.
O'Connor's the other guy. I
Right.
can meet with those guys anytime, and I can explain any business model. I can explain how you make
Excellent.
money, how you know all that stuff. It's really easy for me to do that. But
That's
really,
great.
what it is what are their interests? What do they want to do?
Yes.
What are they have the funds? What do how do you convince them? And then what is their interest? Because every
Right.
investor has a different interest, and
You're absolutely right.
So
that's
just listening to what you're saying, your focus is music and other forms, right? And then
it's
Arts.
also school.
The
it
arts.
yeah, schools, I've always education and sports is my strong suit. I mean, I
Yes.
the EDUs, and the reason for that is because every college bound student has to graduate, right, from high school. So you start out with the juniors and seniors in high school who want to go to college. Well, guess what? If they don't want to go to college, where do they go? They join the Army National Guard or the Navy or the Air Force or whatever it might be. So I also have great connections with recruitment for all the armed forces. So the reason why that is everybody is a college bound graduate, right? I mean, coming into college, so you're a new freshman. You graduate as a senior, you go on. What do you become? Alumni. Same thing with veterans. Veterans, are active enlistments, and then they become veterans, and so you have a customer for life. So I've always went into the colleges and the military because those are your choices you had. If we can expand the scope from colleges, I mean from uh, yeah, colleges and military, and include the sports media that Shaq wants to do, that would be really cool because now you're dipping into a lot of different things and you're helping people decide what their career is. Like I used to always say, go to the military. If you don't know what you want to do, go. It's money for college. You get a $20,000 enlistment. Here's the bonuses. Here's the things you get. Go do it. If you don't know what you want, well, here's another direction, sports media. We can just add to that. You can just keep adding, whatever we come up with that plan. So we could add
Well,
what Will's talking about doing and add that to
Hmm.
the plan real easy. Here's another direction you can go. Go down the arts, go down the STEM
Hmm.
program, go down this
Yes.
program.
That's what we're there. Yeah.
that's
Exactly.
yeah.
The STEM
That's what I was gonna
program.
say. We're working with that right now.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what we
because
did with the Snoop Bowl. We had the kids come and show how to do production at the stadium. We took them on tours. It was about 100 students there, and that's the importance of the nonprofits, because it's going to be the nonprofits that's going to have a heart for the arts. So that's why when Dion mentioned earlier, every big event we're going to be doing, because we don't know what's going to happen with social programs based on the new administration or whatever they're going to do. So we're highlighting arts programs and feeding programs throughout each city. So every big game that happens, we're gonna have at least 150 nonprofits in every city coming showing their wares, so people become aware of what they're doing and can fund them, help them make donations and all of that, and use our media sources to amplify their reach. So that's what the importance of what we do. Anything, people, places, or things, they need visibility. So that's what
yeah.
our part would be.
And
And what
one of those particular partners that we have is Motown Alumni Association, and they have a school initiative. So very detailed, and it's right up the alley of what you're talking about. So actually, what is your phone number, dude? I don't have it. Is it?
did you get my email where I gave you my profile and 97? Well, my phone number is 978-423. It's a Boston number still. I kept it since my kids were born in Boston, so they just call
Oh,
it.
really? I went to Springfield,
Oh, okay, cool. That's more
AIC,
what, University of Mass.
AIC.
Oh, okay. Good. Yeah, it's nine seven
Indeed.
eight 423 5370. If you ask Will, because both Wills, Daniels. I did it more for Daniels' sake because I think I know the guy, Lenny Daniels, but I attached a one pager bio on it. But he can give you that. What I was going to say is this: is what I love sports. I mean, I always want to tie back to sports, but here's my thought on that. What do we got in common? Kids, whether
Mm-hmm.
they're young, old, it doesn't matter. Arts doesn't matter. Sports doesn't matter. College doesn't matter. Military doesn't come. What all they have is their mental health, right? So
Yep.
I I've done more for mental health and suicide preventions and everything like that. But what I can tell you is veterans and
Mm-hmm.
retired athletes with
Yep.
concussions and
Yep.
postpartum. That's all about your brain and
Yep.
everything else there, right? And giving back to people who like, get all the NFL players. None of that money was set aside. You lost so many good people to suicide. And same thing with veterans with postpartum, and same thing
Yep.
with college kids with mental illness, where suicide is so big with mental illness. I'm not talking anxiety, although that
Mm-hmm.
is a mental illness, but suicide. There's so many things that are caused at a young age. So what I'm going with is that it all ties into my platform, which is about peer-to-peer education, and the platform is really about mental health. And
Yes.
whether it's intellectual disabilities, like Special Olympics is my biggest one. I don't have any kids with intellectual disabilities, but I'm putting together, bringing to Nashville 2030, the USA Games to Nashville. I did that all gratis. I'm all about inclusion. I think inclusion's great, and I'm all about intellectual disabilities because that's your mind. I should have been a neurologist or something, but it really
Yep.
it really comes down to that platform is what's big for me. That's my
Mm-hmm.
heart. So if I can
That's
tie
amazing.
anything we talk about and anything we can do sort
Look,
of the umbrella, that's all what I'm all about.
I got a super use case for you. Super use case. Two things. You know what I discovered, Don, when they had several Super Bowls here in Phoenix? I had no idea how many athletes wanted that were chefs. They wanted to be models. They wanted to be in the arts, but they didn't pursue it as a primary focus because of sports. Larry Fitzgerald is a master chef. I'm saying you're absolutely right. Nobody pays attention to, and also in addition to that, it's amazing that you mentioned. I have a veteran, Navy veteran, that owns a channel, and he had a stroke. So they was going to try to tell him, to relax them. So, but he videos, these fun videos, and they discovered because he's been editing videos for the last month, not editing, but like putting. You see his channel. It's called Jer TV, JER TV. His mind is functioning better because he's able to take the videos and edit the videos and make fun videos. So it's amazing you would mention that. I just got the report from his wife just yesterday that because I kept demanding that he keep on editing the videos, that his brain is improving as a result of his interaction with media.
I'm very familiar with that because the veterans get together, and the veterans, not at the VFWs and American Legions like the World War II veterans, but the current veterans get together on the beach and they all play music and guitar and on
Ah,
the beach, and that deals with everything. So the whole brain and working with music is so big and popular. So to just they all they do is they sing around a campfire, and
uh-huh.
veterans bring their guitars and they play, and then they call it a
And,
day, and they feel so much better that the postpartum
and
and everything else they
and
can.
this is going to rock your world. It's going to rock your world because Dion is actually on the board of an organization. Tell it about the organization that does exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, creative drill sergeant. So I'm the vice president for a nonprofit who also has a channel on our platform called Get Amp Television and Radio. We are connected with
I know a Get Amp. I know a Get Amp and television and radio out of New Jersey. I don't know if that's the same one or
No, it's not the
not.
same way. No.
Okay.
Go ahead,
but
Dion.
yeah, we're working with NASCAR. We currently
Yeah, veterans.
yeah, so
Veterans.
we did we're doing at least two events with them this year. But we're working on three because we might be doing the one in March as well. So and we're gonna be working with them for the foreseeable future as well. Our goal is to take all the NASCAR games. So and we focusing on veterans and with the program, it's about community engagement. It's not just for veterans, but it's focused on veterans, getting out, learning the camera equipment, being a part of productions in their community, in their respective communities, and that's not just here. This is just the the testing phase. And we want to release this all across the planet. There's
Yeah.
veterans everywhere.
Yeah, so
Absolutely.
the Nash, just so you know, National Guard, I did the 88 car with Dale Hart Jr. for many years, sold $11 million
Wow.
of dual merchandise. And then before that it was Gordon, and before that it was Biffle, Greg Biffle. But what's really cool is that I was telling Will this, is that what we did is that when Katrina hit, I got a call from the National Guard, and they were there obviously with Katrina, and they met up with Brad, who's the lead singer drummer for um, Three Doors Down, and we put together Citizen Soldier, the whole album for Three Doors Down, based on the Katrina, and we produced the video and everything.
Wow.
Captain Britt was the person. There was more. National Guard does more video than most people know. Like what they create in their videos and their training manuals and everything else they do is so huge, and that was right out of Atlanta, big production studio. But they're just endless. You see where I'm going. You have an umbrella and platform, like I call it, just mental health. I don't call it mental illness, but mental illness is part of the mental health. But because I unfortunately lost, I've been a single parent since birth, since my kids are now 25, and her family was all had mental health problems and schizophrenic and everything like that. That I gave up a lot of my global marketing career to focus on the future kids and the future leaders. So mental health is a big campaign of mine, and I've basically framed it so that there's so many different things that I can use that are my intellectual property, whether it's sports or arts or music, or whatever. And I can make a case, just like you guys have been making a case, for why music or why playing an instrument or whatever ties back in, and how it helps your postpartum, and if you're pregnant and a woman, or whether you're got blown up in a bomb or something. It's
Hey,
terrible.
hey, Don, what'd you think about us launching Mental Health TV?
There's a lot of that out there now. I'd watch
Mhm.
Cardio Smart if you want to check out Cardio Smart. I
Mhm.
did Cardio Smart for all the ACC, which is
Yeah,
80,000 cardiologists.
yeah,
It's still out there, believe it or not. It's for all the doctor rooms and everything to go into, all the
yeah,
cardiologists. If we
yeah.
could do that, you could do that. I mean, I got my hands full. If you go into Active Minds, you'll see all the colleges. We
Uh-huh.
do really cool events. People we lose to suicide. We actually
Yep.
take their backpacks, lay it out on the football field from all over that's been lost each year, put a name attached to it. People walk around, they see it. I think there's a lot you can do about that stuff, but I
Yeah.
mean, it's just endless possibilities. But
Yeah.
But we have to pick which we have to pick one, and one that I know that has not been tapped on.
yeah,
100% I know has not been tapped on. And we're testing that channel called Men's Health TV because nobody gives a damn about
Oh, yo, I didn't want to interrupt, but you
no
said it.
one cares about men's health. And that's black
So,
men, white men, Hispanic men. They always focus on women.
so
And men,
Larry,
there are guys that go around haven't pooped in 3 weeks and don't know why.
I
Okay?
wanted to add when Don said cardio, I was waiting and then you just tapped in. So, Brad Bowes, who is the trainer for all the Avengers, he's one of the top celebrity trainers in the world. He is our head of health and wellness, along with Robbie Robinson, who was in the Arnold Pumping Iron doc. We are starting a private wellness gym that's going to be right next door to the house. And Brad does these master class. So at the LA Fitness Expo for 3 days, he was doing panels. We have so much content. He wants to start a fitness channel. So I told him I need to connect him with you because you literally have one of the top voices in men's health that wants to get behind that whole thing. He can
Well, let's
program.
do it.
Yeah,
We're testing the channel. It's already on
I
ready
got
to
you.
rock. Just been looking for
well,
partners.
men hate going to doctors. Men hate
Yeah, yeah,
going
yeah.
to whatever, specialists. They hate it. They hate it. They don't want. They'll project to their wives or their girlfriend. You go to the doctor. I'm
Exactly.
not. They're going to put off that forever. I mean, but I found at my age, I watch YouTube all the time. It says, oh, I got to learn some stuff
Uh-huh.
about my health, right? What can I eat other than, take a pill or something? How should I change
It,
everything? So it's good
yeah.
timing. I mean, it's good timing, but I mean, what can't we do? I mean, we could do everything. That's why I keep circling back. I got to just like in my marketing days, it's off strategy. Sorry, you can't do that. Gatorade once told me I can't do volleyball. I go, why can't you sponsor volleyball? They go, because they don't wear sneakers. They're playing on the beach. We only sponsor things that wear sneakers. They changed that now, but it's a good thing to follow. It teaches you it's off strategy. It's a great idea, but here's our strategy. Here's the umbrella strategy to it. It's off strategy. We'll come back to that if we can, but you really need to stay on strategy because there's just so many
Yep.
things. What can't we do? If we had the unlimited amount of funding, what couldn't we do? But unfortunately, you don't have that. So you got to be
Nope.
really laser
Exactly.
focused. Yeah.
So turnkey things that are because we have so many channels and because we're building more channels. But like I said, there are niche specific. There's not a general purpose channel. So from firearms, paint drying, whatever it is, those highly targeted audiences is what we're using our platform for because that's how you make things happen by people that are being we're encouraging them to become thought leaders or subject matter experts in their niche. You understand? And
Yeah.
then the people go to that channel all night long, lean back and get news and information about if it was diabetes TV. I mean, that'd be a gazillionaire just with that channel alone. I'm saying that's exactly what we're capable of doing. So we don't build channels for general purpose or just the whole world to consume. Highly
Yeah.
targeted audiences that are specifically related to some things are general, like the fundraiser and the things we're going to do. Everybody has a heart for that. But when it
Yeah.
comes to really making things move based on what YouTube just came out with yesterday, is how people are watching more TV, watching the apps on TV instead of mobile. So things are cycling back to where people are going to be in home doing a lot of things right now. And we want to just capture those audiences and deliver 24 hours, that particular thing that they already said that they need and want.
Yeah. So I would say one thing, and then I don't know who said it earlier about drill sergeants. Who was it that said about drill
That was
sergeants?
Dion.
Okay. So the interesting thing about drill sergeants is that their personality. I use everything for fitness apps and everything else with a drill sergeant. So I have somebody that would stream a drill sergeant from the base out of Lejeune, whatever base, and have them drop and give me 10 or 15 or 20, whatever. Having a drill sergeant barking out instruction when an app works really good. The other thing I like is that the blackjack game I was going to say.
Oh
I
yeah.
think a drill sergeant yelling and screaming at the people, you know, you know, stay, you stand, whatever,
Look,
hit,
look.
oh, come on, drop it, give
Let's
me
go.
10. And
Move it, move it, move
You know,
it's
it.
just they're just such a personality. So drill sergeants are so good to get attention, and they're also the ones that are going to go viral, right? So either you have a
yes.
pretty lady doing jump rope, or you have a drill sergeant telling the guys, get your health check, now, drop and give me 10. It works good. Just like if I give away free T-shirts at spring break of the National
Uh-huh.
Guard or whatever, I don't just hand it to them. They got to drop and give me 10 if they want a free T-shirt.
I know
Look,
that's
Um,
the
right.
blackjack app is off the chain because I'm a master at blackjack. What I need is an app to tell me to go home. That's all.
yeah, yeah,
After I win, the problem I have is in the first hour, I win 20 times more, 20 times the amount I come in with, but then I stay there because I'm bored. You understand?
yeah.
And then by the
Well,
time I leave, I'm breaking even.
I've known three good friends, a roommate, a good friend, and then somebody worked at the casino and counts cards. I don't know how many decks, at least 6 decks. I don't know how many. And they were worn tough. Only two of the three are alive today. So just be careful how good you are, because I've lost two good people that count cards that don't come back. So just be careful what that world out there is. But a lot of people can count cards, but you know, they know who's counting cards and who's not in the casinos, and you're told once or twice. And if you go to Monaco, you'll never come back.
You're
So
okay.
I gotta go. I gotta go to dinner, guys. But I'll circle back with
Thank you.
Lenny, because I think him and I can talk about past things and see what we can do and not do. I don't want to
Thank you.
use the Shack card. I could use the Shack card, but I don't want
Nah,
to use.
don't use the card. Just let him know that because of you and I coming together with what we're going to do at Piney Woods and we're already doing, we need the college side of that. And this all just kind of correlated together. We got led to him by God, man, in the story,
And
So
the other thing that I want to do, and I want to reach out to Moses, maybe not CJ, because I'm right here in New York.
reach
Because I
out to
think if
Moses, John. Do it.
my partner Henry Vaccaro, he is 87 years old, but he's so sharp and he tells the story the same way all the time. And he's the character for the documentary. He's just like a puppy dog. He's a big guy, puppy, a great guy, great speaker, knows it. He's got his mind as sharp as can be. If him and I show up there at Malka, we'll
Do it,
have them
bro.
sold because
Done. I'm not gatekeeping this, man. Everybody, that's why I put you guys on emails with him, right? You could be like, hey, we're on a couple emails with Will. Reach out, Don. You're in New York. Listen, my brother,
Yeah,
you are uh, ever since you and I connected, remember that Zoom? There's supposed to be a bunch of people on it, and technical
yeah,
difficulties made it just you and me. I know where this is happening. It's what I told Larry and Dion last week. I'm not trying to, I'm the filmmaker, man. I want to direct and make movies, and I want to literally just be in sports. I get my dream. I want to build an NBA team in Mexico, and I want to direct films for the next 50 years. All this, the money, see, all of us were pieces. I happen to be led to the money piece. That's
right.
really shit. Everybody read $13 billion in Variety and the Paramount board having to say no thank you. Contact Moses, contact Lenny, let them know we're gathering right, we're working on data, all that stuff. Go meet the dude and let's get this shit going. And
Yeah, it's a
you know,
shame. It's a shame in timing with Larry Ellison and involved with the bid of
it
Paramount and
was
everything.
never supposed to be Paramount, Don. And if we can co-finance, we can show up and do it. Listen, we're building a casino. Okay, the whole reason why Luka Doncic got traded from the Dallas Mavs is because the owners that bought the team from Cuban bought the team to build a casino in the sports arena, just
Right.
like we're doing. And then she traded Luka when the city of Dallas wouldn't let her. Now she's talking about moving the team to Vegas. The whole point
Hmm.
is we're doing
Makes
all
sense now.
this.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
have land. I've secured it for us to pay for it. I've got to finish everything this week to get that to Moses. I think the timing is perfect. Hit him up on email. I'm going to finish the prospectus with Drew between now and next week. You can start the engagement with him, and then we're going to drop a deck on him that's going to rock his socks off because he was so focused on Daphne and he was so focused on Paramount and Moses. So here's the thing. I've never revealed to Malka all the elements of what I have. They funded and gave us money off that first document I wrote that you saw, the one I
Yeah.
did back in August, right? They
Yeah.
verbally committed and have been in since then because they see the vision I have. That vision has been expanded because I've met all of you along the way. So take this over. You're in New York. It's not lost on me. And Joey Stanton, Joey, who's our head of talent, who's one of the biggest former agents in the world, who still manages global superstars. We represent Caleb Landry Jones, who won Best Actor at the Cannes Film Festival 2 years ago. That's Joey's client. He discovered Glenn Powell, the biggest movie star in the world right now. You and Joey both could go in and sit down with Moses, but just make it happen. I'm all in, dude. Whatever you need to do, Don. I'm not gatekeeping any of this.
Oh, and just
Yeah.
really quick, Don,
Yeah.
before
Go
you
ahead.
get off the phone, really quick. I'm also putting it, like I said, we're putting together something with Motown Alumni Association. We're doing workshops. We have artist marketing packages. We have access to over 30,000 Spotify DJs, over 300 AM/FM radio stations, plus the 40 OTT radio stations we have on Connect Your City, and we're doing these workshops to show artists that we have marketing packages for them to show them how to be independent and get paid. And we're gonna be doing this. I've gotten a commitment from Billy Wilson, the president of Motown, to come out here once a month. I got a commitment from him to come out here once a month. Baltimore, Atlantic City, at Virginia Tech whenever we're doing stuff there. So I already have the commitment. We just got to build it up.
Yeah. Isn't that Motown was bought? The label was bought by Universal, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, this is the Alumni Association.
Oh, the Alumni Association. Yeah. Yeah, I got to be really careful because I have the same exact songs as Motown, except for I have them sung by a 17-year-old Michael Jackson. And when they sang the same exact songs, like ABC or whatever, or what, they have the same exact songs I do, except for I have them when he sung in a pristine voice at 17, where Motown has them at 12. So they don't want me to do anything because they got where they'd be competing. Just like Sony, it's okay because Sony, when they acquired them CBS, they only have two of our 74 songs. It's Motown I got to worry about and be careful how I tread there because they don't want us to release any of our, and I don't want to release any music either for a while because there's so much money made in the content. Forget about the catalog. Catalog is like for my grandchildren, like you get the royalties from that. So I just got to be really careful working with Motown and Universal only because we got the same exact songs, same producer, hell, the same writer, the same rights, we have the rights for the older version because it was produced after Joe Jackson left Motown. There was a gap. I was actually there at the time because I was at Sony, and I knew we were acquiring CBS Records, and Joe Jackson notified Motown at that gala dinner that they're no longer going to be Motown. And he sat for 2 years before he came to Sony, which is CBS Records, waiting for the Sony thing to happen. And I knew I had him because he was producing a Joe Jackson production. And I go, I know I have this. I have all this, the rights for all this stuff. I just got to wait for 2018. I waited to 2018, and because Joe Jackson didn't claim anything in bankruptcy, that he had all this stuff. So I had to wait until it was time. In 2018, we went back into Library of Congress and got the rights to it because he didn't claim it on bankruptcy. And there was no creditors that came forward, so we didn't have a problem. So we lucked out. But I got to really be careful with Motown only because they'll be nervous, like, what am I going to do and what am I not going to do, and that, all that kind of stuff, because I don't really know what I'm going to do right now. I mean, the music, if somebody makes an offer I can't refuse, maybe I do sell the catalog. Sony was my once buyer for that, and
So
then they, so I
with
just got to be careful.
everything's connected. I mean, Don, between what you've got and then what Brett's got, the crown jewels of this for what we're trying to do on the global scale, or what you're
I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of Sir Brett, just so you know, just for the record.
It's not, I understand and I get reasons why, because I've dealt with my own issues through this. I'm getting that art to spread it across all of our locations to create experiences around the world. It's not going to stay in the hangar.
Yeah, but you can, like I told Sam, Sam is, I listen. Anything he has, I can create an AI. Actually, I had what
No,
he has.
but hang on,
Mm.
because you gotta understand, right? I'm on the entertainment side of that over here. AI, so we're building something in a foundation of education, entertainment, sports, and hospitality, all things enhanced by AI, right? So I'm all about using AI to enhance things or to create certain elements, but you can't you can't take away from the fact these are original pieces, right? That Michael created. There's still Michael super fans out there. The instance with him and the Michael Jordan shoes and the ball, those are all elements that if you spread those items out from what we're doing with the Canyon Country store, remember, which is connected to music history, right? It's an entire thing. So this is all going to be in this prospectus I'm sending you.
But those are collectibles. They're not replicas. You sell the replicas to millions of fans. You keep the
Yeah, yeah.
collectible for what.
Oh,
So
100%.
so I can create anything that he has because we once owned what he had. So that's one thing. So I have every digital image. If I want a Thriller jacket or a white glove on a mannequin, I can throw that on. I
Yeah.
can take whatever you have and sell replicas, and you wouldn't know the difference. Like the wax museum, you wouldn't know the difference between the real, you know. I mean,
I
we
know. I'm
have.
talking the real pieces though, or what we're gonna put in stores and everything else. And
No,
I'm
I
all
get it.
about using AI to create and sell other elements of this 100%.
So when we go on global tours to tribute to Michael Jackson for all the fundraising that he did for the children, and we go from tour to tour and we set up in each big city for 30 days, I'm not putting any Sir, whatever his name is, Brett, in any of the showcases, all replicas, it's all wax, it's all everything. But my big on my jumbotrons and all my signage in the corridors and everything, I'm gonna blow it out with graphics and all kinds of cool AI images of everything. And I have the right to do that. So I more people go to a concert to look at the jumbotrons and the things they can't see up close so they can actually see the performer and the artwork really close. So, if you're going to get people to walk around in a museum to see a bunch of shoes or a bunch of jackets, that's cool, in a certain setting, but not at a concert setting. So if you do that in a museum, whatever, maybe. But my goal
I'm
is more to
turning
go.
our Canyon Country stores, our museums, and actual stores. This is what I'm saying. I've got a massive, grand connective vision for all these pieces. Because, for example, Malka's not just interested in just acquiring the Jackson stuff, it's how it fits in this ecosystem. Also, our ability from an entertainment standpoint to monetize that into IP, right? From the series, doing an original series about the formation of the Jackson Five that's fully scripted, that we get an A-list creator, Spike Lee's directing or somebody. Those elements all correlate. That's been my constant communication since you and I met as it relates to CJ and the plan as how all these elements fit in a full ecosystem. So just make sure if you do reach out to him focus it on how all this correlates together with the Jackson 5 IP as the crown jewel behind everything. Because
Yeah,
it,
because let me just give you a little tip. So it's a shame it's not there today, but when Sony had 550 Madison, which was the old AT&T building in New York, we took that over, sort of the Batman building. When we took that over, 550 Madison Avenue in New York City, and we had to keep the public area so people could come in and be the public, and then upstairs was all the Sony buildings. But what I convinced Sony to do, we created 3 floors of museums, and we just had 6th graders come in on their bus rides and dropped them up. They were booked for 6.5 years in advance. But what we did was my idea was we created the decades of music. And what I did is show you started out in the 40s and how music sounded then and how video and audio and who the bands were there to showcase the content. And as you went through the museum, the next day the sound got better, the video got better, you got new acts, and now all of a sudden you got Prince and you got Michael and you got all the other people. And it just grows and grows and grows. And what's great is that you change out the acts. So maybe it's a theme. This month we're going to have country, or this month we're going to have hip hop, or whatever. You just change out the whole theme in the music, and it talks about the technology and how it's advanced and how it's got better. So you should do that for your Mexico.
100%. And the other thing is, remember, we're doing the global charity impact event. I want those Michael pieces to auction off some of them on a global scale. So
Yeah.
we actually raise money for basically what the foundation is. That's the whole purpose of all this too. So,
Yeah.
Sir Brett, from a business standpoint, I'm not going to be put in front and center with anything just because there's too much
Yeah, I mean,
around him
Sam's
and
big on him, but
upset.
I've never been big on the guy, only because I know who you have to deal with to get things done. So um, it's okay. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff
And
out there.
just so you know, we've reached an agreement, and I'm okay with the agreement. It's in the data room for what it is. That whole thing situated. My biggest aspect is just there's been so remember, I only talk to you guys about specific things, right, as it correlates to what we're discussing and dealing with. Remember, I was at this for the last several years before we all connected. And then since we connected, it's just been a windfall of IP and everything else. So the sheer capacity of organizing and sorting all this is what has taken so much time. And also, I had to wrap up everything with being able to really create this universe around They Live. And all that got finalized literally last night.
Yeah.
So,
Well, technology's gotten better, so it's paid off for the delay, I mean, what AI can do, and
yep.
even what people stealing everybody's IP off the cloud and everything else. You just got to be careful of everything and make sure you have the privacy and everything else protected. So we're learning a lot of valuable lessons as we move forward, and things are getting better and better. I mean, it really is. I mean, finally we'll be able to see a hologram like, Princess Leia coming out of, you know, Star Wars, but it's a real thing and there's no smoke and mirrors in front.
And that's the other biggest thing, man. I have a deal in place with Steve McNelly and Alan Cooksey, literally as it relates to Hollowport Live. So that's the biggest element. The ability of what we have to do in the hologram space with what you're setting on is massive.
Yeah.
So cool. Go
Well,
to
that's the story I want to tell with the hologram is, and answered all the questions, where you like you do with, old 20 stuff today is to be able to ask questions, and then it has the key to answer because
right.
what I have that's different than everybody else is the age of innocence. So we have that story that's never been told. All the other stories been told, just the age of innocence hasn't been told. And
Yep.
that's the new millennials, that's the Z generation, that's everybody that needs to hear it for the first time because my kids don't even know who Jackson 5 is.
Yep.
And they will know who the next Jackson 5 is once we get done.
Exactly.
All
That's
right,
a
guys,
good
I got to
call
run. I
too.
got to go to
Have a good
dinner,
dinner. Thank
and
you.
I'll follow up with Malka and Lenny.
All
Awesome.
right. Nice talking to you, Don.
All right, guys.
Appreciate you guys. Blessings. Thank you for the time. Bye.
No problem.
Bye bye.